Hi, welcome back. Today I'm doing a video on Neville Says, where I take a quote from Neville, and today the quote is about doing the work and applying these teachings to your life. So stick around. I'm Hedley Derenzie. I am a qualified life coach, adult educator, and author. I'm also super passionate about the amazing teachings of the law of assumption as originally taught by the wonderful Neville Goddard. It is the stories we tell that create our life. So if you want to change your life, you need to change the story. And if you want to create an amazing life, you need to know how to tell amazing stories. And that is why I'm here. I want to help myself tell amazing stories, and I want to help you to do the same. If you would like support, then I am available for one-on-one coaching and also email coaching. My contact details are in the box below. You can also connect with me on the socials, Instagram. I've put the details for that below as well. Okay, let's get started. This is my series, Neville Says, where I take one of Neville's quotes and then share my interpretation of that quote and how you can actually apply it to your life. And the quote is from Neville Goddard's book, The Complete Reader. This is such an amazing, this is the Bible, really. This is like the Bible. It has all of Neville's books all in one. So I really highly recommend that you grab yourself a copy. You can also download it on Audible. Oh man, I just lost my place. Oh, here we go. Okay. So this is taken from the book, The Power of Awareness, and it's chapter 18, Be Ye Doers. And the quote is, "You must be doers of the law of assumption, for without application, the most profound understanding will not produce any desired result." If you don't do the work, it isn't going to work. And this is no different with the law of assumption. It's really easy to get caught up in all the videos and all the amazing teachers that are out there, and listening to the videos, reading all the books and listening to the lectures, all of that stuff. And I would say that that is obviously a very important part of learning about these teachings. These teachings are so incredibly profound that they do require repetition and listening to them over a few periods of time. I've certainly, since the 6 months that I've really committed to these teachings, I listen to them every day. I am doing this work every day. However, it's probably in the last few months that I've actually really started applying them, because I realized that what the quote is saying, if you don't put this stuff into practice, it's not going to work. And so how do you actually do that? How do you apply these teachings and put them into practice? And there's a lot of different techniques. And the one thing I love about this is there's no one right way of doing this. It's about you figuring out what works for you. We're all different in the way that we learn and process information. Some people are visual, some people are kinesthetic, some people are auditory. So we have our different strengths. So some of you might like to visualize the enacted scenes that you've created about the things that you would like to manifest in your life. Some people are like myself. I'm a writer, so I really love to write out the scene, and especially if I'm doing revision on something, a situation from my past which didn't go favorably, what I will do is I will rewrite that scene and include the script. I'll literally script it out as well. So you can do that. If you're an auditory learner, you might enjoy having inner conversations with the people in your imagination regarding the things that you would like to create. It really does not matter. You can create videos, movie, whatever it is. It really doesn't matter. The point of all of this is to start giving your imagination far more attention and more time than you give your reality. So many of us, we are so conditioned and driven to putting all of our focus and energy on our reality and looking outside of us and seeing something we don't like and then going outside of ourselves to try and change it, or seeing something in somebody we don't like and then going and having that conversation and say, I think you need to do this differently and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's very much a way that so many of us live, because that's just the way we've been taught. That's the way most of us live. And this really is just so fruitless in terms of manifesting what it is that we want, because really what we're doing when we're reacting to the 3D and our reality, all we're doing is we're just getting stuck in. It's like going up to a mirror and just banging on the mirror. It's not going to get us anywhere. The source of reality, the causation of reality lies in our consciousness, and the way to shift our consciousness is through the power of our imagination. Reality comes from our imagination. Imagination is what projects it out there and it gets reflected back. Reality is just a hologram, it's just an outpicturing. And it's kind of, everything's backwards. So it's in fact our imagination, what we can hold in our imagination is actually more real than what gets outpictured in our reality, because reality isn't real. It's just an outpicturing of imagination. So we want to be putting our attention and focus. Of course, we're going to focus on the reality. That's not about denying it, but we want to be putting more energy and attention into what it is that creates our reality, and that is the power of our imagination. So one of the techniques which Neville talks about and which I employ in my own life, and I have to some success as well, is before I go to sleep every night, because when we're sleeping the subconscious is wide open and it's working. So we're always creating, things are always happening even when we're asleep. And sleep is a really powerful time for the subconscious, for things that we want to get into the subconscious. And the way we do that is to focus on them in our imagination just before we go to sleep. And this is where you can start to implement this work and start to do the work every night before you go to sleep. Think about something that you want, play a scene out in which you are active in that scene. So you're not a witness to the scene. You're not closing your eyes and imagining a scene. You're thinking from the end, not of the end. And there's a big difference. And I'll do another video on that one as well. So you want to put yourself in the scene as if your wish has already been fulfilled. So whatever it is that you want to imagine that it's already happened. You're in the scene as it's happening. And you want to play that out just before you go to sleep. And it's a good idea to play it out a few times. Certainly when I'm doing some revision work where I'm replaying a situation from the past and I'm revisioning it, so I'm replaying it because that is a shift in consciousness. I will play that out a few times. So I perfect it before I go to sleep. And then what you want to do is you want to fall asleep while you're playing out the scene, so that it really gets embedded into your subconscious while you're sleeping. That is probably the simplest way that you can start to implement these teachings into your daily life. And then when you wake up, you might want to just revise that scene, or what I do is I repeat affirmations. I'm worthy, I'm loved, I'm wanted, I'm chosen, I'm enough, I am beautiful, I am intelligent, I am smart, I am successful. Like I've got a list, and I just tell myself, I just start the day with that to remind myself and get myself into the state of consciousness of being the person that I want to be. And I might also then remind myself of those things throughout the day. This is not about being obsessive. I can be a little bit obsessive, so that's just me. But this is really, then you just go about your life. And you go about your reality, which you've created in your consciousness. And then at the end of the day, you can revise your day and change anything that didn't go according to plan. That's for revision. I'll do some more videos on that as well. Really want to engage your imagination and put these teachings into practice and start to tell yourself the stories about the things that you want to experience in your reality. And then you go out into your reality and you can be in your reality from a place of curiosity to see, okay, well, let's see what is going to manifest today, and let's see what's coming up today, and is that favorable, is that not favorable? And then at the end of the day you can revise, and it starts to become a really fun process because you're working with yourself, you're working with your reality. You're no longer feeling like you're up against your reality because you're in relationship with it. You know the source of it, you know what causes it. And you know that if something is unfavorable, you can just go into your imagination, shift the consciousness, replay it, revise it, rescript it, do whatever it is, use whatever technique works for you in order to recreate what it is that you want to experience. And that's the work. So we want to become more proficient at doing the work rather than just reading. Reading and listening are all super important. We want to understand the principles of these teachings, obviously. So definitely dedicate some of your time to that. However, the true benefits of these teachings are in the work and the doing of it. And I can say from myself, since perhaps doing more work than the listening or the reading, I've certainly started to see some of the results, and you know, it's awesome when you have people reflecting back things that you've scripted in your mind. You're like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this shit works. This is not just magical, airy fairy thinking. It is magical in a way, because it's like, wow. But at the same time, it's like you'll start to see that this really does work. These teachings are profound and they will change your life, but you absolutely have to do the work. And I would start, if you're a beginner to this, you're new to this, just start by imagining what it is that you want to experience just before you fall asleep, and do that every night. It's not just a once-off. You can't just do this once off and then be like, okay, I'm done. It has to be a daily practice. It doesn't have to kind of get in the middle of your important responsibilities and things, but you do need to do it. So that's all I wanted to share today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please feel free to share it with family and friends, and also subscribe to my channel and join me on this journey as I continue to share my interpretations of these wonderful, wonderful teachings. Thanks. I'll see you next time.